Hey guys, it's me again. I was just getting ready to go pick up my son soon and I was just finishing up some work, but as I was staring off at my computer, I also dazed off and I started getting a download that I wanted to share. I think it's one about unification. It's one about the fact that the world is filling up with tragedy. Like, let's not be unrealistic. Like, we look around and there's all these tragic situations that are happening. And the overall message I was getting was that in this time, in this energy, because you guys know I read the energies, we have to start looking at these tragic situations and realizing that there is another alternative perspective that we could see them as. We can go into fear-based thinking, believing that the tragedy around us is against us and not for us. And what I mean by for us is like it's a different perspective on how to look at a tragic situation and see it as a possibility. And I know you might be thinking, what does she mean by tragedy being a possibility? And what I will say is that for all of us that are alive right now, like obviously we've seen history, obviously we've read about it, but now we're experiencing it. We're experiencing history. We're experiencing change in front of our faces. We're experiencing oddities. We're experiencing global warming. We're experiencing wars. We're experiencing things that we've read about never. So we see it as tragic and decimative, and we think that that should instill fear. But really, if we saw it as a possibility to know what we don't want for ourselves in this world, that was the channel of the energy that I've been seeing for this time. That in order for us to like move forward as a collective, we should try to change our perception into one of possibilities. Why are these tragic situations possibilities? They are possibilities for us to know what we don't want. So when we know what we don't want, we know that we start to fundamentally start to shed a lot of the distraction and a lot of the division that's been placed upon us by those in power right now that control the world. And if both or the agendas that be, and if you don't know what agendas are, they've been going on since the beginning of time. People always want to instill power and oversee how things are governed. And with everything pointing to us, where it's basically a time where we either decide if we're going to let ourselves be divided by the stories we're being told by the media, by propaganda, by people like myself on social media. If the discernment level has to turn inward and we have to start saying to ourselves, like, where do we fall into all of this? How do we make this change? And sometimes it can seem so overwhelming. We're like, oh, how can we change the world? I'm just one person. That's what a lot of people say. But the truth is we can, and it starts with the way we think about it. If the fabric of society and if the fabric of our quantum energy field is made up of all of us, right? And if we identify as humans first, and we don't let the labels and the constructs of this existence identify us, we can start to see that if we sort of stretch ourselves to only think of ourselves as human and realize that we are brothers and sisters first and foremost, everything else starts to fall away and we start to look as a collective as to how things can change. And that only comes from analyzing and expressing ourselves through tragedy. So, the differences between us are what keeps us stuck. The differences that we tell ourselves we are is what keeps us stuck. We all consciously, as humans, know that there's certain truths that are stronger than any division or any definition we have put on ourselves. And one of those truths would be that we as humans don't like war. We as humans don't like famine. We as humans don't like cataclysms. We as humans want to survive in a world that is as beautiful as the world we're presently on. And all of these tragic things put us in odds with that. And the thing is that because we feel so powerless, we cling to the definers. We cling to the dividers because that's what makes us feel like we're whole or trying to achieve some type of wholeness as a human. We, as human beings, always try to understand our place in the world. We're always trying to understand who we are. How do we make a difference? How do we, take hold of who we are in this world? It's something we've been doing existentially since the beginning of time. We want to know who we are. So the labels we give ourselves, we feel are empowering. But really, the labels we give ourselves are actually what keep us at odds with each other. And they divide us further. Like, there's always going to be divisions that make us feel like we're different. The reason why I'm saying this is because I've been doing a lot of sessions. As you guys may know, I'm a channel medium. And in every single client reading I do, I start noticing more and more that I am so much like the people I'm delivering this information to. There's more of a simpatico. There's more of an understanding of being human with these people first. And I know that you as well as the watcher of this video are also human and you sympathize, and that's why you're still watching. Because on some level you realize like what I'm saying is true. It's heartfelt. It's what moves you in life. You want to thrive. You want to be safe. You want to be whole. So what I want to say is the challenge for us maybe in this new energy is that instead of spending our time listening to the divisions, being the divisions, perceiving ourselves as divided, we should let a lot fall away and look at the fundamental core essence of who we are, and that we're human. We don't like these things, and without noticing, if we don't want to participate in this, that will ricochet across the quantum field. Sorry. I just keep feeling like I am one person, but I am one person that stands up for the fact that I want to be there for everyone else. And if the only way I can do it is by changing my mind, putting down my weapons of choice, which is my dividers, which is things like, oh, I'm a female, I'm a spiritualist, I'm white, I'm a certain age bracket, I'm, all of these definitions we give ourselves on a daily basis. That's all we're doing is dividing, old, young, tall, short. And all of these things don't matter. Like, if the world is going the way it's going, is it going to matter when things get to a level where these itemized ideas are no longer going to be anywhat important? We're all going to be in fear together of something even larger than ourselves. Like, if the world does come to an end, will it matter if I was a woman? Will it matter if I was a spiritualist? Will it matter if I had a lot of money or didn't? No. The only thing that's going to matter is I'm a human losing a family. Or I'm a human in a family. Those are my fundamentals. That's what's important to me. So instead of us always building up these barriers, maybe we should start embracing what, brings us together. This uniting, this unification, this looking to the people around us, our neighbors, that are us. We are it, they are them, I am them, they are me. And in this embrace of that understanding, as more people start to turn on to this is what will change the world. Sharing our humanness, sharing our stories, sharing what we go through, humanizes everything and makes us realize that we're not that much different. If we're not that much different, then we don't got to do what we're doing in terms of tearing each other apart. The tearing each other apart is the fundamental. The powers that be, the agendas that are, they want us tearing each other apart. It makes their job a lot easier. When you decimate a land that you fought so hard for, you're still going to be the one that has to rebuild it. So really, who has the power? Isn't it the warrior on the battlefield? Isn't it the person who's going to have to repair the land once it's all over? I think they're the most powerful. I don't think the government that sits in their high quarters, not participating in any of the misery and any of the tragedy, is the powerful party. And I think if more of us realize that we are the powerful ones by deciding what we do and don't want on this world, in this planet, this unification can help us get there. So I just want to share that I have a hard time unifying those ideas inside of myself. But I feel like in this time, maybe I got to challenge it, and I got to say to myself, I got to let all those things fall away, because I'm fundamentally human, and that's what defines me. I'm defined as human. I love you guys. That's all I want to say. Have a good one. If you like what I'm saying, please like, please share, please subscribe. But ultimately, I just hope the message gets out, and I just want to let you guys know that we have the power to decide how we perceive the world. Thanks. Bye.